Hey, welcome, everybody. Can you all hear me? Let me go ahead and put this in the chat. If you can all hear me, put a one in the chat. If you can hear me, put a one in the chat. Let me see. I'm just like, it's about three people here. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Where is that banner that I made? Let's see. This. If you all can hear me, throw a one in the chat. Throw a one in the chat if you can hear me. Throw a one. Let me make it scroll. Maybe make this one scroll. Hold up. If you can hear me, put a one in the chat. If you can hear me. Oh, people are coming in quick. Hey, what's up, Wired Dog? Mr. Mysterious, welcome. Kamar Brown, welcome. Gonzo, I'm here early, looking forward to the stream. Me too. I know this is what y'all want to talk about. I know this is exactly what you all want to talk about, but welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming through. I think my audio, let's see. I might be getting some feedback. Let me go ahead and put these headphones in. There might be some feedback. Salute, and welcome to the chat. Put these headphones in. I think those went ahead and connected. Welcome to the chat. Thank you all for being here. Gonzo is here. Salute. Welcome, Wired Dog. As always, you guys are here all the time. Thank you all for being here and being such great supporters of the streams and all of that. So, as I'm starting to get to streaming more, getting more content there for you all, I'm really enjoying kind of interacting with you all. It's just interesting because I look at a lot of streams. I look at a lot of people's streams and kind of what they do. And sometimes people will stream and not even recognize people in the chat. So, I think that that's one thing that I really try to do. I really try to recognize you all for coming through and for participating, bring up your comments. I know that sometimes for some people, they might have so many people in the chat to the point where they can't even really engage, right? Might be so many comments going down the line, but I thank you all for coming through, and I'll do the best to address any of your comments, concerns, and questions, because really my live streams are purpose to be able to interact with you all, to be able to answer your questions, and to be able to really connect with the people who have supported and watched my videos. So, I try to recognize you all as much as I possibly can, but if I miss anything, call me out for it, right? Put the same comment again if I don't answer it or if I don't respond to it. And Kamar says, salute. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you all for coming through. Without further ado, it looks like some people in here. We're going to go ahead and start. Let me do the intro video and then we're going to get into the subject. Let's go. Welcome, everybody, to Struggle Security, where we are normalizing struggling in cybersecurity. My name is Gabriel Legbarucci. I work as a cybersecurity consulting manager, and I'm happy to be here with you all to kind of give more information about cybersecurity and really engage with you and talk about some of your struggles, some of my struggles, and really kind of how to navigate this difficult path at times within cybersecurity. So happy to be here with you. I said hello to so many people in the chat. If you all can hear me, put a one in the chat, say who you are, say hello or welcome or anything, right? So definitely, as I was mentioning before the intro video, I'm definitely here to connect with you all, to really engage with the audience. So if you guys have any questions or concerns, even if it's not on the subject that we're talking about right now, I'll try to start and we'll try to get to it sometime during the stream. But thank you all for being here, and let's just get right into it. Let's talk about the money. Let's talk about the bread. Let's talk about the bag. We were having some discussion. I had some discussion with PBO, Professor Black Ops. He has a YouTube channel as well. And we were having some discussion about salaries, and he was speaking about a job offer that he was entertaining with Amazon, or a potential job offer with Amazon. And we were talking about what some of those compensation salaries look like, and you all seem to be very engaged. So I'm like, hey, let's go ahead and do an entire stream about it. Let's talk about it. I know I've previously done a video on cybersecurity salaries and open source places where you all can go in order to find where some people have posted what their salaries are within some of these tech organizations or financial or government. So we're going to go over some of that. But I think this is a good place to start off because this is a gentleman who has started off speaking. Well, he started off in cybersecurity with a salary of around 50K or so. And then he transitioned to a salary of around 140K within 2 years, right? Massive growth in his salary, massive growth in his compensation. But let's hear more from him. And I think one thing that I definitely want to parse out here is the advice that he gives about going, how he went from that 50 to that 140K. Some of that advice, and we're going to kind of break down each one of those and just have some discussion about it. And if you all have any conversation or any topics or anything that you all want to talk about, we'll get even more into it. And I would also say, stay on the stream because I'm going to show you some stuff that comes into my inbox, to my LinkedIn inbox, email inbox. First time ever that I'm showing this to a public. Of course, I've redacted the organizations, the companies, the recruiters, because I don't think everybody wants that information out there because they have competitors and all this type of stuff. But I am going to show you all some job offers that I've been able to receive and what skill sets align with getting those. And yeah, we're just going to get right into it. And I'm going to also drop the link for anybody who might want to just ride along. Here, let me go ahead and drop the link right now. If you all want to come up, feel free to hit the link. If you all want to ride along, we can have some discussions. You can give some of your verbal commentary. If not, feel free to just ride along in the chat and then hit me with any comments or concerns that you all might have. But let's go ahead and check out this video to go ahead and start off with. Let's go ahead. Let me maximize this for your viewing pleasure and let's play.
Just give folks an idea, right? I'm not afraid to talk salaries. Just give folks an idea, right? I went from making around $55,000 a year to a little over 140 in a 2-year period.
Wow.
Now there was a lot of things that had to line up in order to make that happen. There's 3 career jobs. I probably got a dozen different IT security certifications in a 2-year period. I tell everybody, just get to 6 figures. Figure out do whatever it takes to get to 6 figures. Work your 60, 70-hour weeks. Finish your education, get a master's degree, whatever the requirements are that are written on paper that everybody says you got to do. I know it can be hard sometimes, but figure out how to go get those requirements, right? And then put in that work. And then after that, you have a lot more options.
Okay, let's kind of parse some of this out, right? Let's parse some of this out, what he's saying here. So just to kind of do a little backtrack, he said that he went from around 50 to 55K to around 140K within 2 years. And a couple of things that he started to mention of how he got there, one of the first thing that he mentioned was that of certifications. He said that within that 2-year span, he said he got a dozen or so certifications, a dozen or so. You're talking 12, around 12 or so certifications. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't have time like that to get 12 plus certifications or around 12 certifications. So he might be somewhere in the niche type of thing, right? I don't know. But he said within those 2 years, he got around 12 or so certifications, and that helped in his pathway. Clay, welcome, nearly tripled his pay. He did. What kind of work hours, though? Even the weightiness of work. So, that's a good question because what were you doing along with getting these certifications? We know that he might have been getting sponsored by his organization to get those certifications, right? That might be something there. Hello, Mr. Mysterious Man. Welcome to the chat.
Hey, what's up?
Hey. If you could you turn off the YouTube that's in the background?
Yeah, I just got that.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Welcome, man.
Hey.
I think I'm still here in the background.
Oh, nope, sorry about that. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah. Okay, no worries. Take your time. But we're kind of going over a couple of things here as it concerns this gentleman. Here, let me put us both there. As it concerns this guy going from that 55 to 140 something K. And then he was speaking about some of the compensation that he was able to get. And he mentioned certs. So he's getting certs combined with also working. So that might be a little bit strenuous there. Mr. Mysterious, did you get your audio together? I mean, I got you muted. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, no, I should be good now. Yeah, I just had to put some headphones in, so you're not on my speakers.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, welcome for sure, man.
Oh, cool.
This is a good question. I always ask people, how'd you find out about the channel? How'd you find out about the content?
Shoot, I forgot how I found out about you, bro. I mean, I've been watching Professor Black Ops, and Duan Lightfoot for like the past few years. Duan actually kind of got me on my certification journey. I have yet to receive a certification. I'm right now studying though to get my A plus, and then looking to get my CCNA after that. So, yeah.
Where you want to go? You want to go into cybersecurity? Or you looking to go into like networking? Or what are you looking at doing?
I'm
on the spot.
No, you good, man. You good, but yeah, I'm still kind of really undecided on what I want to do exactly. Of course, the cybersecurity stuff, it's real sexy. That's like initially what got me thinking about like, hey, maybe I could be a hacker, ethical hacker type thing. But once I started finding, like, again, looking at Duan's channel, basically just opened my eyes to the possibilities that there's just like so much more out there. So right now, I'm looking at like just a whole bunch of different.
Man, he done moved over to Amazon, man. He's doing this Amazon thing with his cloud. I think he's a cloud developer advocate. So like he's working in Amazon to help to spread the word about cloud and for people to get certified and get more information about it. So yeah, he's been making it happen for years, man. So for sure, man. Do you have any comments about anything that was said so far with the gentleman, how he was speaking about going from 50? Have you ever heard of that before?
That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, that's kind of crazy to even hear. It's just like doubling your salary into something that can be life changing for some people. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's definitely something I'm looking to get myself in a better situation than I am right now. So
I'm sorry, Mr. Mysterious. I'm seeing in the chat people are saying that the audio on your side is a bit staticky.
Oh. Man, all right.
What it is?
It's just I'm using my laptop right now. I got a whole separate microphone. Give me a second. Let me plug in my second mic.
Sure, take your time, man. Yeah, take your time. We're gonna go through a little bit more of this, and if you hear anything, feel free to come back with a comment or so. All right? Okay. So Clay had mentioned maybe he got a number of simple and similar certs. That's possible. He could have did the trifecta with the CCNA. I'm sorry, with the CompTIA A plus, Network plus, Security plus. He could have did that and then kind of grown from there with all the CompTIA ones. He could have did that, but that's still 12. 12 is a lot within two years. It's not horrible, but 12 is a lot. Clay said that didn't help. Yeah, they're all saying the audio. They said the audio. Can you turn your mic volume down a bit? I think I can actually even adjust it. Let's see. Can I adjust it? I don't think I can adjust your audio on my side. Let's see if I can. Audio. No, I don't think I have. Oh, guess. No, I don't think I have the ability to adjust your audio. But no worries. You said that you're working on that. Yeah, Black does say turn the audio down just a bit. The audio. Yeah, everybody's saying the audio Mysterious. No worries, though. No worries. He said he working on it. He said, hey, chill out. He said, hey, chill out. He said he working on it. Chill out. All right. No, just all right. It's nice loud, but very y'all gotta get up. Well, the audio sounds like the interview is oh my guys. Y'all need to chill out. He must be a singer. Whoa. Slow down.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, cool.
How about now, y'all? How about
now?
Y'all?
How am I sounding now?
You sound great to me. You sound great.
Yeah,
to me.
I had to hook in my blue microphone. It's sitting over here. It's all got dust on it and stuff. So yeah. So
see, that's what happened. It's like you probably like unplug something and then boom, and then we just hear the static. That's probably what had happened. But no worries, you sound good now. You definitely sound good. I'm seeing that we're getting a lot of newer people coming into the chat, so I just want to hit them with a hand clap and a hand clap for you coming up to the chat. Clap it up for everybody. Thank you all for coming through. Everybody saying it's good now. Everybody saying it's good. So
cool.
Chill out on my guests, y'all. Chill out on my guests, man. Because we don't want to run people away. Chill out, y'all. Okay.
No, I ain't going nowhere.
Octavia says, what's the guy's name with all the certs? I gotta find I'll find them for you all and put his name in there. I see Tracy that came in. Tracy. Welcome. Saying welcome everybody. Zone said you're clear. Welcome, Zone.
Cool.
CC, perfect art. Steve. Listen, we got it together. Got it together. Y'all just gotta be patient. Y'all just gotta be patient. Gotta be patient. Everybody's saying what's up. Audio sounds good. 10 out of 10 now. Salute, Gabe. Welcome OG, and welcome everybody to the chat. You were saying about the salary. You were saying something about like it being like life changing. You were saying something along those lines.
Right. Just, I mean, from 50,000, even just quite honestly, I mean, coming from where I come from, that looks like a high unobtainable goal. So even just getting $50,000 a year, sometimes for some people, it's just like, man, that could make some differences in my life. But even going from 50 to 100, it's like, ooh.
I'm telling you, I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I'm from the west side of Detroit, right? The east side is typically thought of being the worst side, but the whole city really is kind of messed up to some degree. So that 50K is that 50K is a lot even in the city of Detroit, right? It's a lot even in a lot of the metropolitan areas. So going from that to 140, like you mentioned, life changing. Anything else you want to say before we keep going?
No, man. I mean, just I appreciate you having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And throwing any commentary, even if you got something else to do, you could drop down, come back. It's on you, man. This is kind of like a revolving door, so come through whenever you feel like it. All right.
Sound good.
For sure. Let's go ahead and listen to some more.
If you had to pick a few key factors that help you go from 55,000 to 140,000 in 2 years, what would you kind of recommend?
You mentioned something early. You mentioned a mentorship, and I gotta be honest. Like, I never placed a big value on that in the beginning, and I was wrong. I was wrong for not doing that. I would say the biggest factor for me, honestly, was meeting people who had done it, especially people who look like me. Because you're gonna hit a point where it's like, man, this is hard. I don't know if it's worth it. Like, and just having that support network and having those people that inspire you is going to be the biggest factor.
That's
for the practical things. If you're early in your career, don't be afraid to jump. Like, there's, as far as I'm concerned, for the first 5 to 10 years of your job, there's no such thing as a job hopper, right? Like, do what you got to.
Okay. We're hearing a couple of more things here, right? He mentioned, I'm trying to get this thing together. He mentioned one, meet people who have already done it. Right. So people who have already made that jump into that 100 or so K plus. But he also mentioned don't worry about job hopping. He said there's no such thing as job hopping. You got anything on that? Because that's interesting, because there's a lot of opinions about job hopping. I know that I've been classified as a job hopper by some employers before, and
really?
I had to get to I had to get to it, man. I had to get to where I'm trying to go, but. Have you heard of that? Have you heard of people talking bad about job hopping, quote unquote?
Not necessarily. I mean, I'll just be honest. I haven't been in too many of the circles as far as people talking about employment. That's something I probably need to work myself better, is getting networking together. Like I said, my journey started about 2 years ago. Recently, my mom passed. So as I was studying for
I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, definitely sorry to hear that.
Thank you. But yeah, as I was studying, so I just kind of derailed. I had to take some time, you know what I mean? Sure. So I'm kind of trying to get back into it right now. But I haven't really heard anything bad about job hopping outside of just traditional employment, like, old school employment, stay at the company for 20 years. But, I don't even think that's a thing too much anymore. There's not too many places that are keeping you on for 20, 30 years. It's like some advice my dad gave me back in the day type stuff,
Yeah, definitely. I think that's really the foundation of it. A lot of times, people were awarded for staying with companies for long periods of time. They were given pensions. They were taken care of. Their families were taken care of. I know that my grandmother and my grandfather, they both worked in like the automotive plants here in Detroit, right? So both of them had worked in those plants and retired. My grandfather's been passed since like the 1980s or so. My grandmother is still receiving checks from my grandfather's work that he had, right? So they take care of your family even well after your demise. Companies don't do that no more.
Right.
And even as you saying, have you heard about all these big old tech layoffs and all that's been happening?
Right. That's kind of been in the news recently, just like Google, Amazon laying off huge amounts of people. But I mean, to be honest, like as I was getting ready to get back to studying for the A+ again, I'm like, man, this sound like that don't sound cool. But it makes me just realize, I'm like, man, there's still so much opportunity out there. I mean, I'm not sweating on it like that, but
there is. because there's those tech companies, but there's also many other companies that need tech workers, like healthcare and utilities and defense contracting and you name it. I mean, so even though the tech companies are have an issue, tech workers are not going long with being unemployed. So but I kind of mentioned the tech layoffs is because how those other companies used to take care of you so many years ago. Now they don't do that no more, right? They'll lay you off if their revenue numbers are if they even think that a recession is coming. They'll lay off a whole entire staff. I think Microsoft laid off 10,000-12,000. I think Google laid off 20,000. I mean, they're just laying off people because their bottom line has not been met. So where's the loyalty, right?
Right.
Where is the loyalty? Why would I be loyal to somebody who ain't loyal to me?
And that's what I'm saying. I think the huge thing about job hopping. Sometimes you just got to find that opportunity that might be better for you, that might suit what you are trying to achieve in your life better, rather than trying to stay loyal to a company that's not going to be loyal to you.
100%. I'm gonna hit some of these comments here. I'm hearing everybody saying cool, salute OG. She said thank you for the welcome. Yeah, welcome. Come back anytime for sure. Professor Black Ops says only 7% of brothers make 100K. So
that's
this brother.
Staggering. Man, that's
staggering numbers there. So going from 50K to 144K is just completely. I mean, it defies the statistics. Atkins says, "Struggle family." Said, "Welcome to the chat." Again, like I mentioned, if you want to ride along, feel free to hit the link if you want. Let's troll. Welcome. She always has this name for me, Gabe Jackson. She said I look like Derek Jackson. I don't think so, but that's cool. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. Treasy said, yes, I have to hit the plateau of needing the push, feeling it's difficult. Yeah, I've hit the plateau. Okay, to get into tech, is that what you're speaking about, Trees? Is that what you're speaking about? Professor Black Ops, like you mentioned, one guy's channel you go to, I was younger and I hopped. When I got older, I stayed. Okay, that happens, right? Wire Dog said people pay people what they are worth and treat them well. They don't have to worry about job hopping. Yeah. But the thing about it is that, like, I don't look at the job market and business as like a marriage, right? If you are married or something, are you married?
No, I'm not married.
Okay. Right now. So I'm married and I'm like, I'm not looking at other opportunities. I'm not looking at her and her to hop over to, right? But in the business world, I think you can be as unfaithful as you want to be. I'm just saying you can be as unfaithful as possible with these companies because they're not faithful with you. Like they'll it can get even crazy to the point where they will hire you or they'll have you employed while you're training your replacement. They'll pay you to train somebody to replace you. Where is the loyalty there? Like, where's the loyalty there? So, I get it, Wire Dog. I know that you're saying pay them and they won't leave, but if it's a better opportunity out there that aligns better with myself and my family, my financial goals, my career progression, then I might be out of there, man. I'm telling you, I might be out of there. So I don't know. That's just my perspective. Everybody's different though. So just throwing it out there. Atkins said, "Welcome. What's up, Clay? Yes, sorry to hear that. Yeah, he says definitely sorry to hear about your time, man.
Thank you.
Indeed. Wire Dog says, always ask why the position became open to see what they say. Sometimes you will hear red. Yes, that's another thing. They might have a lot of red flags. Yes, Microsoft had laid off a large amount of tech employees, just catching up. Xavier Black, yeah, these jobs ain't look. These jobs, they are not loyal. They ain't loyal at all. And I ain't loyal. I'm loyal to my output of work, right? Because if you hire me, I'm gonna do the best job possible that I could do. But if there's other opportunities that better align with where I'm trying to go, I'm out of there. I'm just saying. I made that mistake staying at a company out of loyalty for a bit too long. Bet I won't do that no more. Professor Blacko says, we all learn. And Corey said, yeah, welcome, Corey. The company you stay with long-term oftentimes will not pay you like the competitor. Oh, man, there's so much game being dropped in here. Man, I got to start some of these comments for us to come back to. Been in my help desk job for almost 9 years. I'm trying to reach 100K. Is cybersecurity a good field to reach that? Yes, and we're going to look at some of these salaries. So there's like different websites that kind of, whether it's job posting sites that list what the salaries are, or there are open forums, like open sites where people have submitted what their salaries are. So, and a lot of them are over that 100K or very close to it. So we're going to see some of that, OG. Maddox said, hello team. Yeah, welcome Maddox. It's so many people that just came here. I gotta get another hand clap. I definitely gotta get another. Thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate it. Let's see a couple of more comments, and we can get into it. Mysterious. Sorry. I know
No, it's not good.
one thing at a time. Let's see. Yeah, cybersecurity in a few years. Yep. She says yes. I was responding to reading that extra. Once you start feeling it's worth it. Yeah. I received my associate's degree. Okay, that this year cybersecurity and Linux is very challenging for me. Listen, big ups to you. That is definitely a very good route to go. I know Professor Black Ops has taught in the university setting at community colleges, and he gives the cybersecurity information all the time for his students. He's retired from teaching now, but that is definitely a path that he recommends. Going that associate's degree, getting some of those certs, and kind of really building up some of your background. So, absolutely, I think you're on a very good path forward. Kumar says job hopping is the best way to get the salaries you want. Hey,
Right.
we'll get into a little bit more. Oh man, everybody's hitting. Listen, Atkins says, hit the like button. Atkins says, I did that training, my replacements, because I'm not a bitter person, but my organization didn't deserve it. Yeah, listen. Okay, everybody's talking. I'm struggling in my internships. No worries, Mr. Mysterious. You can come back anytime. I know he had to drop. I didn't drop him. But he had to drop. But let's keep on going with the video, because I think he's going to get even more game, even more information about getting to the salaries, going from that 50 to 140K. So let's go ahead and get more of this. And hit the like button, as he said. Please do.
What you got to do to get ahead?
Give me your top certifications for somebody who is looking to get into cybersecurity.
The most influential, the most important is probably Security Plus. It's the one that everybody starts with. It's a gatekeeper certification. From there, I tend to push people towards the CISSP, especially if they're a veteran. Typically, if you're a veteran, you've worked anywhere near a computer, you've met enough requirements to sit for the CISSP. The CISSP is targeted towards industry professionals with 5+ years of information security experience. What I'm trying to tell people is you got to separate your job from your career. And you want in the beginning to be focused on getting a good job, like to get the job that pays well or whatever, and then once you've established yourself as a working professional, is making a good income or whatever, then like the career options start to open up. You start looking at mentoring, different networking events and things of that nature. The best events are Black Hat and Depth.
Let's take one more quick pause there, because he mentioned a couple of different things like certifications. Now he previously mentioned he got about 12 within 2 years, but he also mentioned some of the top ones that were able to get him to where he desired to go. So one of them that he mentioned, and welcome back, Mysterious Man. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Two of these certifications that he mentioned, one of them was the Security Plus cert. Have you heard of Security Plus certification before?
I have, and even just recently scheduling my test. I was thinking about going that route, but then thinking, I guess I got a question for y'all. What would you consider? Security Plus or CCNA being a better route, or to go to, like for my next certification?
That is a good question. What do you all think in the chat? We have a lot of seasoned professionals in the chat that can also answer it. I think it's dependent upon where you want to go. So what do you want to do eventually? I want to ask.
Okay.
I know you mentioned pen testing, but
yeah, that's of course the first thing that came to mind. And even in the cybersecurity field, there's so many different things that I haven't even thought of before. So I don't know. I guess number one is just like looking to get my foot in the door. you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. We're hearing from our OG here. He said CCNA and then Security Plus. So that might be something. CCNA does have a security portion in it, but it also has a cloud portion. And I would say that CCNA can get you into a lot more roles than Security Plus. Security Plus would, let's see. Security Plus will focus you in on cybersecurity roles. But the CCNA is you can do like network security or network administration. And that can also be a stepping stone into a pure cybersecurity role. So I do think the CCNA, Maddie said CCNA opens a lot more doors.
Okay.
It opens a lot more doors there. We're going to answer this question, Octavius, because I know that's what he had said. I have heard that getting to see. Okay, yeah, we're going to talk about a couple of those. Here come PBO. Here we go. Here's the man of the hour. Welcome, PBO.
What's going on, man? I was on an $80 million vendor call. So
listen.
I was listening to y'all, though.
It is Friday. It is Friday. So, we buttoning up the working. So, but yeah, so I'm hearing CCNA to Insecurity Plus. I'm hearing CCNA will open up more doors. Feel free to speak on it.
Oh, yeah. And both of them are good. But for me, and we talked about that, is to be good at security, you got to understand networking. That's the basis of it. How to control your traffic, how to set up VLANs, how to just scan network ports, right? You're going to get all that from the CCNA.
Okay.
Right. And a lot of times when you're a junior, a lot of times, even when you and Gabe can chime in, when you look at network logs, you got to go to the network diagram and say, okay, where is that coming in? Do we got a port that's open that shouldn't be open? Right. So networking is the one, I believe, one of the basic foundation of security. And when you look at Security Plus, you're going to see network questions in there. Right. So
100%.
So
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I say get that and just roll on into it, and because you're just starting out, so the more skills, the better, right?
Yep, I would absolutely agree, because I know that when I was jumping into cybersecurity, because I was coming directly from engineering, like traditional engineering. Well, when I was going into cybersecurity, that was one of my deficiencies. I didn't really have any network administration or any understanding of networking as a whole. So, when I started getting more of that background, then I'm like, okay, let me put all these pieces together. Let me really try to understand a lot of these specifics in cybersecurity. So, I think that that CCNA, or even if you wanted to, doing a network plus too. So a CCNA or a network plus, even though CCNA is more recognized, that network plus will get you to a lot of that foundation too.
You might want to go network plus, then go CNA, right? Because they all step in, and you're right. If you don't have any, I'm old school. I like to go up a ladder, right? So I would do, like you said, the plus, then go CNA, because when all those skills are going to stack on top of each other.
100%. 100%. Let's go here, because I know that they were asking this question. Octavius mentioned, how do you go from Security Plus to CISSP?
I'm doing that right now. Let me chime in on that.
Absolutely. Feel free.
Who hit that question again? Who answered that? Hit that question.
That was Octavius who asked. Because the gentleman that was talking, he was saying that he went from Security Plus to CISSP.
Yeah, that's a natural progression though, because Security Plus is going to give you the foundation. CISSP is a management question. And for the CISSP, you need 5 years of experience to even sit for it. If you don't have 5, you're wasting your time, to be realistically. So, there you go.
The CISSP does have that associate CISSP cert.
I wouldn't do that though, man. If you can't if you can't take the full advantage of it, I wouldn't do it, Gabe. But you're right. You can take it and become. Why would you do that though? I mean, you can.
Well, he said he went from 50 to 140 in 2 years. So he probably didn't have that five years of experience. So he probably got the associate. But, on the 8570, so this is a list of certifications for government roles.
Yeah, it's 3.
So the associate is on there too.
From
what I saw. So the CISSP associate or...
but you don't have to have really 5 years of security. You said, I know guys had a couple years of programming and they just kind of, I forgot what you said. I'm gonna say stretch it, but embellish what not
embellish.
right. So if you got technical skills, right? I programmed for 10 years, right? So that actually helped me get in a purple team, right? So those skills stack.
Yeah.
Right. So, but now Security Plus really is the foundation to get into CISSP, because really Security Plus for me is more foundational skills. It's actually going to let you be able to configure kind of thing. CISP is 1 inch deep and a mile long, because it's a management test. Once you get done with the CISP, you can't configure a network router. You can't program, right? It's a management test.
So kind of to the conversation, right? The CISSP probably wouldn't be somewhere where somebody who's trying to get their foot into the door would go for. But that Security Plus, that CCNA, that Network Plus, and that would definitely get you into something like, I wouldn't even say a help desk role. I would even say like a network administrator role or a security analyst type of role.
SOC role. You can get in the SOC, because that'll let you, you do more SOC to me. You can start looking at the logs, start putting stuff in the SIM. The Security Plus, you're going to know all the ports, so you can start running that stuff and looking at it.
Yeah, welcome AO, and he's speaking about the NOC. Have you heard of the NOC before, Mr. Mysterious? The NOC?
No, I haven't.
The NOC is the Network Operations Center. So it's like, think of like a command room if for digital devices, a command room for computers and servers and networks. If anything goes wrong, you have to respond to it. So there's like a ticketing system and all that, right? So NOC people, they're working shift work. They might be working the third shift. They might be working in the middle of the night. But, you know, a lot of people do start off in the SOC. So SOC stands for Security Operations Center. NOC stands for Network Operations Center. They might go and do some of those shift type of assignments within security or networking to get their feet wet in the field. So I don't think that the NOC or the SOC is like the end all be all, but it is a place that could be a stepping stone into cybersecurity. So
yeah, especially the NOC, because for me, NOC usually has the most people in it. Because NOC for big companies, they always gonna have a third shift because some can go down with the network. They at least want somebody on deck on site. So most cybersecurity teams, unless you work for a big company like Gabe or a big organization, cybersecurity team at most gonna be 4 people, unless you work for a big organization. Not be like 30 people, man, because they're doing NOC stuff. A lot of them doing third tier help desk. And even in the NOC, a lot of times is you still got to hit the wiring cabinets. You can't do that remote because there's something always going on with the wiring cabinets. So we need more ports. So they're really the biggest team. So when people ask me, I always tell people probably networking is a good place to start. It's once again a fundamental foundation of cybersecurity, and they had the most people.
100%. Yeah. I'm just looking at some of these comments here because some people are saying that they, Atkins says that he appreciates the work from home and remote thing over the money. So some people might take a lower salary in order to work 100% remote. Hey, listen, it depends. You know, me being a new father, I'm like, I would take less money if I could stay at home more often, right? Because I don't want to miss the first steps and the time the baby roll over and all that. You know, I don't want to miss any of that. So, you know, it's all about your priorities, right? What are you prioritizing? I would say to get to money faster, doing the contracting route where you can pretty much you pretty much live on a plane. You live out of a suitcase. That would definitely get you to the money faster if you don't have a lot of home type of commitments. So I would throw that in there.
Yeah, I was lucky on my which I consulted for 25 years. Okay. I just was lucky to do staff file. So I was at one client for 11 years was DOD, and I was with the Indiana Department of Revenue for 11 years. They offered me a job. They just couldn't pay me enough. And 2 is we're not recommending this. This is just for a show. This is not no financial information, no, not medical information. None of that is. And we're not recommending it. But overemployment, it was an excellent video. That's an option when you work from home and shit. You kind of in the gray area. We're not recommending, but it makes your pockets get a lot fatter.
Sure does. It sure does. I'm hearing this from AO. He says, "How about CCNA plus CYSA?" I think that's also a good combination. That is kind of some of those SOC skills, because I think the CYSA is that security analyst certification from CompTIA. So it would go over things like log analysis, things like the queue, things like doing troubleshooting on different devices. So the CYSA, I think, is also a really good one too.
Yeah, I think it's better than the CISP because it's more practical. Right. I'm at a level now where since you're looking at managers and directors and SMEs, they want the CISP now seems to be the cutoff point for HR, right? Because if you look on Indeed, you look at some jobs, there'll be 800 people applying for it. So when the cutoff is, you need this certification, right? So that's going to knock out 70% of the people.
Oh, man, I'm so behind on the chat. The chat is going crazy. Hold on.
They're probably gatekeeping. Go ahead. I'll let you roll.
The chat is going crazy. If you got any questions, Mr. Mysterious, because you get priority, because you up here, right? You up here. You get priority if you have any questions, but I'm just going to get
if I got some, I'll spit them out if I got some. I'm just trying to get some knowledge.
Yeah, let me get this one. She asked me. Sure. What's her name? Tracy?
Treese?
Call it TT. TT. I'm old school, so I believe degrees are much more important. I think you should get your associate, get out an employer. Your employer would play for your bachelor's.
There we go.
As you go up the ladder, and Gabe will tell you this, when you're going for directors and SMEs, you're competing against each other. So the first thing they start with is, what's your degrees and what's your certs? 100%. Right, especially if you're not known in that agency. So the more degrees, I have an MBA. I get a lot of callbacks and a lot of messages because I have an MBA. And let's be real, a lot of times, people of color sometimes they're gonna brush you off. So you're gonna need more qualification, more degrees, more work. I'm old school. I'm about that life. So the more degrees, the better. Go ahead, Gabe. I'm gonna get out my soapbox.
No.
Let you
I'm right there with you, right? So I think that associates plus a security plus or associates plus any type of degree will definitely get you a foot in the door. And just like Professor Blackhouse was saying, then you can have your employers pay for your degrees. They can even pay for your certifications. They even pay for certification renewal fees, because you are maintaining that certification, maintaining that base level knowledge in order for you to do work for them. So a lot of times it becomes their responsibility in order for you to maintain your certification status. So you can continuously have them paying for things. You can even negotiate. We were talking about that before. I had negotiated a certain certification even before I came into a role. I got it on paper and said, hey, before I start this job, I want you all to guarantee that you will pay for me to go through this certification. So, you know, it's a lot of different flexibility, a lot of different things that you can do. But an associates plus a security plus will definitely get you a foot in the door within a lot of organizations. I'm not saying it'll be the easiest, right? You got to network. You got to go ahead and really understand what that job role is and understand what those requirements are. But I think that is a very good foundation for you to get a foot in the door.
And so at your current company, you should already be in the IT department whispering to people like, what do I need to do to get over here? What's the stepping stone? Because a lot of times you're a known quantity inside your company, right?
Absolutely.
So one guy hit me up. He was doing his stuff. So I put him on a security team. I went to the CISO. I said, this is the guy we want. I like him. My guy, my interview, he me, white boy goes, I don't like him. I go, I want him. We were cool. He goes, well, any work he can't do, you do, right? So I was like, yeah, I'm on him, right? But those are kind of things you can happen when you're in house and people trust you, right? So
100%. Yeah, Gonzo mentioned that they're doing Security Plus, looking for the chance to digest the material. I'm telling you, get through it, because, you know, it's only so much that you can digest just by studying for the cert and taking it. A lot of the knowledge really gets ingrained in your mind when you start doing it within a work capacity. So I would say definitely try to get through the material so that you can get the certification, so you can get the role where the material really starts to sink in. It really starts to kind of bake into your mind by doing it rather than just studying for it. So I would say get through it as much as you can. Yeah,
lab every day.
100%. Xavier says you can't go wrong either way. Both need to escalate to foundation. Needed to establish. Yes, absolutely. Beanie. I actually worked with Beanie on a project before. He was one of my customers. Absolutely. Welcome to the chat and appreciate the feedbacks. But definitely thank you for coming through, man. Thank you for coming through. Want to get the hand clap for the people who just came into the building. What's up? Okay. Got a couple more. Listen, hopefully listen, PBO Gabe and Wired Dog. Absolutely. Are you Wired Dog, Mr. Mysterious?
No, I'm
I didn't
not.
think you were Wired Dog. I was about to say, I didn't know you were Wired Dog. I was about to say, Computer Geek, welcome. Here any technical proficiency in desktop computing, because I have a referral for. Okay, listen. I would say reach out. What do you think, PBO?
Anybody have any technical proficiency in desktop computing, because I refer for. I don't do desktop anymore, and I'm gonna say this. The chat don't kill me. I'm an elitist, man. I don't do desktop. Don't pay anymore, man. I don't. And Gabe understands this. When your bill rate's $200, they don't want you messing with desktop, right?
Indeed.
So it's a trade-off. So
I think Computer Geek is a recruiter. If you have a channel or something, I don't know. He's a recruiter.
No, that's
good
cool.
For the recruiter. Feel free to reach out to him on his channel. I think feel free. Should I even bother with the CYSA to get into SOC? If you're going for Security Plus should be good. I think the CYSA might be a little bit of a step above that, but I think that you should be good in with the Security Plus though, for sure.
Yeah,
Gimme says, can you use an MBA in lieu of 5 years of experience? I do think education doesn't education knock off a year or two for CISSP experience?
I think it knocks off a couple years, but the problem is when you interview, the CISP is such a high level. Yeah. I've been interviewing for jobs that require CISP. They're asking for 10 years of experience.
Yeah,
on a lot of
some
jobs,
CISSP roles.
Because you're going for a management role a lot of times, or a SME role for CISP.
Yeah. Octavia's speaking that he's more into the technical skill development. Very important. Xavier says you can take associates to get the exam requirement portion A Security Plus will knock off the 1 year of the 5-year requirement. So that's for the CISSP. We're talking like that high level one.
Yeah.
Beanie know about it. Beanie said, "Can you talk about SANS GICSP, sir?" That's a so it's very specific to industrial control systems. So when you're talking about industrial cybersecurity, that's the certification. That's almost like the GICSP is almost like the CISSP for industrial cybersecurity. It's very expensive, but I'm sure you work for an organization that has the bag. So I would say put in a request in order to gain that certification, a certification request. I'm sure that they'll pay for it, and I do think that is a very good foundational cert for industrial control system cybersecurity. So that's a lot I have to say about it, because I've had it for several years. I actually just had to renew it recently, and it's just really good. Actually, I think I got some of the books over here. Actually, the books are up under this monitor on this side. But yeah, very good certification. Very good certification. On my way to BTL1 right now.
Blue Team Level 1. That's an
okay.
excellent
I've heard of that one. Whatchamacallit talks about that.
Yeah, the young black dude talks about it. He got me hip to it. So I'm telling everybody, cyber. Yeah, you can look him up. So yeah, I looked into the Blue Team Level 1. That's an excellent cert. I don't know how much is requested out by companies. I don't know if it's new, but like I said, I just really heard of it. I want to say last year.
Okay. Wire Dog is mentioning. Everybody's mentioning the knock. So listen, I'm so behind on the chat. Please forgive me, people, because we're having such good conversation here. And again, like I said, Mysterious Man, you got priority if you got questions. So feel free if you have anything there. But everybody talk about the knock here. Solar Winds and the knock and Death Racer. My buddy, welcome to the chat. Clyde says that's the one issue wireless won't fix. I know it was something we was talking about before that I probably missed. Remote customer tech role. Feel free to throw the email. Feel free, Computer Geek. I see that you're advertising some roles that you might have. You might be able to connect some people with some roles here. Knock sock, high turnover rates. They really do.
Fast.
I'm gonna have to skip some of these. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to skip some of these, y'all. Some of these are really good. Would you recommend people go right to the CCNP if they can handle doing it? I think Cisco allows you. Now they do allow for the skipping. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. They do allow you to skip right to CCNP if you are prepared.
I will look at the requirements. They tell you what you need to know and understand. If you think you're ready, you ready. But if you don't pass, you flush some money down. So
that's true.
So if you think you're ready, that it tells you what you need to learn, and a lot of times what the requirements are. The prerequisites. My fault. The school prerequisites.
I would say try to go for the CCNA first. You still have a lot of work prospects or job prospects with a CCNA. It's still a very strong certification in the job seeking field. So I would still say go for CCNA. That CCNP could probably be a beast. You might find yourself studying for longer periods of time in order to just get an entry level job, right? So I would CCNA game changer game over laughing about something we was talking about in Death Racer. He says he's nearing the end of his degree. Okay, and stashing those security pins. Please do, man. Yeah, reach out anytime, man. Definitely reach out anytime if you want more information. I know a lot of times for undergraduate folk, many organizations are still doing internships and co-ops, right? These are paid internships and co-op. You can even get experience before you even finish up your degree. So feel free to let me know if you're interested in something like that.
And look into your state. A lot of states have agencies that handle information technology for the whole state. And since it's a state, they usually have at least 20 or 30 interns that are coming into the state. So reach out to your local state. I'm in Indiana and I work with those guys. So I know big states, they call information technology. They usually do IT for the other state agencies, so they usually hire a ton of interns because I wanted them because they're gonna do the grunt work I don't like to do. So shout out to them. Go ahead, Gabe.
I'm telling you, get some experience with that grunt work. I did like 3 or 4 different internships before I graduated, and I was getting so much experience. It was primarily engineering, but at the same time, it was some type of work experience for sure. TT says she's thanking us for our advice and good information. Definitely, thank you for coming through for sure. Def Racer says, "How the heck you modded?" Everybody modded. Everybody modded over here. The cool people, throw a little extra sauce on it. Struggle security, throw a CCNA in the pot. Yes, CCNA is where that. Yeah, and Yori, welcome, CYN. Oh man, there's so many questions. CYSA, Google it, Zone. Zone always be coming in here trying to disrupt. Just Google,
Hey,
Google,
P.
sir. Okay, I think I'm almost there. Day Cyber is the one that speaks
Yeah,
about that blue
yeah,
team level 1.
yeah,
That's him. Thank you,
yeah.
man. Thank you, Maddox.
Yeah, shout out to
Greetings,
Max.
Ken. Welcome. I'm in the GRC space. Okay, we got
That's
somebody in the GRC space.
that's
Thank you, PBO.
Yeah, Kenny, that's my space. GRC, I think, is a hidden gem. You
Yeah.
don't need to be as technical sometimes, and you can start in GRC, then move over to cloud. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people do that. So no, shout out to GRC. I do NIST and Fed stuff like Gabe, Sticks, which Gabe don't like, but
I do
all
not like no sticks.
IRS. So I do all the big, I call them the big boy stuff in GRC. So if you got any GRC questions, throw them in the chat.
Absolutely. And then even speaking of that, the young lady said, "I'm grateful."
Oh,
One
check,
second.
dude.
He says, I'm grateful you are all doing a live stream because I'm learning. It's important to have a community with my goals and found PBO through Tech G. And speaking about Tech G, he has a YouTube channel that I want to share over here. And he also has like a security, let's see, A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus training class that he's actually doing right now. Let me stop sharing this one. And
it's going live in March. Yeah.
Yes. And I think he's starting to take on more students now.
Yep,
let me go ahead and share that for those who are interested. And let me throw his link there for those, because I'm hearing a lot of people that are maybe starting off that are looking for Security Plus. Let me find training and YouTube. Because I think that's a very good place to start for a lot of people. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit more here. So he goes into some information about some of his classes. These are some of his videos, and even here he goes into some of the information that he goes over during his training class. So I think that you sign up. Well, I think you have like a consultation service with him, and then you sign up for his training class. And then, like I mentioned, he goes through what it's like. Here, let's take a look at one of these here. Let's take a look at one of these because it looks like a lot of people are interested. So right now he's going over a lab that he's doing with someone, and he's teaching them about the SSH or Secure Shell protocol and how to configure that. It looks like on some type of routing device, and he kind of breaks it down step by step. We'll take a little bit of a look here before we jump to our other comment.
No sound, man.
Oh,
I don't have any sound coming through.
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
It's no sound. I think I am just sharing the window rather than sharing the tab. Listen, perfect. Okay, let me know if you all can hear this.
That's what we're about to do. So
there you
go.
Okay.
So big F.
I have a question. I've heard of keys before, but what exactly are they?
Just cryptographic keys. So basically, when you want to send something secure, when people talk about encryption, they're talking about mathematical algorithms that encrypt information where it's not necessarily what is called like a one-way function. So what I mean by that, let's just say that this is a message written on here saying discover, right? Oh, because this is who this came from. And then my hand is the algorithm. So I got my little message discover written on here. And then when the message goes through the algorithm, it comes out on the other end. This is a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
Okay, so that's just a sneak preview, right? One thing that you can see here is that he's going through, hold up, what am I doing here? He's going through step by step on some of the security concepts here. He's explaining encryption. He's explaining the purpose of the protocol. Even if you see here on the screen, these are specific commands on Cisco routers that you would run in order to configure this setting, right? So I think that this is something that you all can go for. Check out that link for his YouTube channel, and he also has links to what his training is as well for those interested in like the A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus certification. So feel free to go over there for that information. Anything else from you fellas before we move on to our next piece, or any thoughts?
No, I think that's a good place to start.
Okay.
He's been in military and IT, so he's definitely a guy who knows about his business. And he's got low cost paywall for some of his stuff, so I think it's a good bargain.
Absolutely. No, I'm definitely gonna check out Tech G. I didn't know about him, but yeah, I guess outside of that, because I mean, I'm coming with no IT experience at all, and you were talking about sort of our internships earlier. Is it possible even to get into an internship without any experience? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Is that something like that?
Yeah, but you got, like you said, you got to start networking. All the guys I know got them is they knew somebody in game. No, shout out to the nepotism, somebody, nephew and uncle. They be hooking them up, but you can do it. You just, once again, you get to start networking. And a lot of times too is give something to get something, right? So what can I do for you to help you, right? Because a lot of people ask for stuff, but a lot of times if you start helping people, then obviously they owe you a favor and want to help you. But it's a process.
Okay. Indeed. So, going to some of these local conferences. So what like region are you in right now?
I'm in Colorado right now. So
you in Colorado. That's beautiful, because a lot of times many like major cities or like major places, they have these conferences, these cybersecurity conferences, and they have them annually. They're called B-Sides. Have you heard of B-Sides before?
I have, actually.
Okay. Have you ever attended one?
No, I haven't. Nah.
Okay. And the good thing about B-Sides is that a lot of them, even as it concerns, let's see, do they have one coming up? I'm looking at B-Sides Denver. And B-Sides are really good conferences for people who are kind of just starting off in cybersecurity. And that will allow you, just as PBO is speaking of, your ability to network with other cybersecurity professionals. So people who are local to those organizations or local to the places, they're able to connect with you. And then that might even be an opportunity to get some type of job prospects, whether it's an internship. You might be able to develop a relationship and kind of just grow your overall, I guess, cybersecurity network. So I would heavily recommend B-Sides for your local cities. So I see B-Sides.
I'm taking notes right now for sure. I'm definitely going to check that out.
And a lot of those are remote now since COVID. Yep. So you can go through. For a while, I was going through everybody's CISSA conferences because they were all remote. I would go to one in Indiana, California. What's that? Eventbrite. Go out to Eventbrite, and they show you all the free security stuff. And so I was just picking ones that I liked, and try to network.
Yeah. I had spoke at B-Sides Vancouver last year. B-Sides Vancouver. I didn't go to Vancouver. I was right here in front of my computer speaking at B-Sides Vancouver. So yeah, those are very awesome conferences. And to Zone's point, yeah, I think Tech G, I think he was using Packet Tracer, like Cisco Packet Tracer, which is a tool that allows you to kind of simulate network environments. So that's pretty cool. Maddox said B-Sides is awesome. I won a PS. Oh, he won a PS5 at the last one. Oh, all right, Maddox was probably doing some hacking challenges, and that's another thing that happens at these B-Sides. They have capture the flag events where a lot of times they put you on different teams, and then you're able to hack away at something in order to win a prize. So it looked like Maddox had won the PS5 from going to somebody's B-Side. So pretty cool, and a very good way to network because you'll be on teams with people that you don't even know. Or you could be on the team of people that you already know and y'all kind of been practicing together. And that's a good thing. So what do you guys feel about CTS for practice? 100%. I think CTS for practice is super duper dope. I know one that I
CTFs is that like something like HackerOne or something?
Capture the flag.
So CTF stands for capture the flag.
Gotcha.
It's similar to HackerOne, but HackerOne is what you call bug bounties. So bug bounties are where you're kind of hacking for a prize or something, or organizations put out bug bounty programs, and you come in as like an independent cybersecurity consultant or something, and you're looking for bugs in their systems before the bad guys find them. Now these capture the flags are more like simulated environments and simulated kind of like war games. In order to practice. So the one that I love, that I always speak of, is called Pico CTF. Pico CTF is a super duper dope capture the flag event. It's put on by Carnegie Mellon University, and you can do all types of things on this one, right? So this one you can practice, you can get ready for the 2023 one. Let me zoom in a little bit more here. They got one that's coming up for 2020, actually March 14th. March 28th, so next couple of weeks or so. So here, let's go to learn more. So it looks like it says Pico CTF is the largest cybersecurity hacking competition for middle school, high school, and college students. It can even be adults too. So because I've participated in some of them. Participants 13 years or older of all skill levels are encouraged to compete. Competitors must reverse engineer, break, hack, decrypt, and think creatively and critically to solve the challenges and capture the digital flags, right? So you can go ahead and register. and you can even sign up right now if you wanted to. So if they you can have like a user's guide too, right? So they have things where you can click on to say that you're a learner or if you're a teacher. They give you the ability to kind of join a Discord and really kind of understand how to prepare for the Pico CTF. So they have this primer here where they even have like a whole manual on like all these things. What is a shell? How to get shell and programming in Python and ASCII and web exploitation. I think this is an extremely good resource for people who are just getting into capture the flags or even in cybersecurity. And the thing about it too is that you can put this stuff on your resume. You can put that, hey, even though I don't have work experience in cybersecurity, I have participated in some of the most popular capture the flags in the world, and this is where I place, or this is where I have had a little bit of fun, and this is what I've learned. So, I'm going to put this in the chat too. Pico CTF. I think that goes aligned with the whole idea of how to get to the money, right? How to get to the money in cybersecurity. A lot of times, when you're able to display your skills and capabilities, you're able, like in capture the flags and these type of events, you're more sought after by employers because they have a better understanding of what you know how to do. I've been going on and on and on. Do you guys have anything that you want to talk about as I've been speaking, or what's up?
No, I think that's actually, even though I'm blue team, a lot of times I try to capture the flag because I'm trying to defend what people are trying to hack. So the best way to become a defender is kind of understanding what tools they're using.
100%. 100%. Corey says, what's a good way to learn Rapid7 and CrowdStrike SIM tools? Do they have free versions? So a SIM stands for a Security Incident and Event Management System. And these are kind of the ears and eyes of security monitoring, which you'll be doing in the SOC. Sorry, go ahead, PBO.
Yeah, there were 7 tools. I just looked out on LinkedIn. They were done by Person Centered Cyber. She put out free tools. One of them I was surprised, was Splunk. They have a 50 meg free tool. I didn't know that. So I actually might do that on my channel because that's the big dog. That's the 800-pound gorilla inside of cybersecurity. So if you're in the SOC and not, most of the logs, especially for big companies, because we got money, is going to feed into Splunk, right?
Yeah. So Corey, even though I don't know of any Rapid7 or free CrowdStrike SIM tools, because those are typically like paid tools. Those are big enterprise tools. Yeah. Maybe a good substitution if you're trying to look for SIM technology is what PBO just said, is that Splunk, right? And they have a free community version where you can, and a lot of the skill sets go along with the same type of tools, right? Yeah. So you will be able to write up queries. You'll be able to write up threat detections. They all kind of ingest like Yara and
all of that. Apache, Tomcat,
Apache,
Oracle,
Tomcat,
MongoDB, all the popular web server, app servers, and database are automatically, and you just put your connector in there, and it's going to just
the connector, the ingester, and all that. So I think you can learn a lot of the same skills from the Splunk, the free version, that you will also need in order to deploy and use Rapid7 and CrowdStrike. So
then just real quick,
good question.
How you use a SIM, right, is you want to take your logs from your whole organization, so when a transaction comes through your firewall, you can trace it from your application, web server, app server to the database, because you need that total view. A hacker might be getting you one place. If you don't have that total view, then you won't get it. Oh, yeah, shout out to NIST and COVID. That's what I do. For the GRC.
NIST and COVID. Yeah.
So that's it. He talked before. He came in from change management and business analyst, and that's a perfect way to get into the GRC, because a lot of that, you taking those business requirements, now you put in the security requirements, especially when you talk about NIST. Obviously, you got some federal agency you work for, and the COVID piece. I do mostly NIST, but COVID's in there. I'm not a SOC guy. SOC 1, 2, those are hot, but any of those compliances, right, is part of security.
100%. I wanted to get to another one here because this is a video. It's a little short 3-minute video, but it's kind of still on the subject of the skills that pay the bills. So we're talking about this one here, and the name of this video is what does it say? Make 250,000 cybersecurity salary. We're gonna kind of break it down a little bit here to kind of gain a better understanding of what is he actually recommending and saying here. So let's take a look at this. And let's go.
So, I mean, $250,000 per year working in cybersecurity, I'm going to share with you the skills that I have that I believe are very marketable, where people can pay you $250,000 or even more per year. So a bit of background about me. I've been in cybersecurity or the IT field for 17 years. The first 5 years I was working as a systems engineer. So I used to work in Unix, Sun Solaris, Red Hat Linux. So I did a variety of skills. I worked with storages, I worked with servers, I worked in system administration. And then I moved to information security, or actually I moved to network security, where I was looking after firewalls, IPS, and whatnot. Let's jump to the skills that allowed me to make a high salary in Australia and even worldwide. Skill number one is consulting skills. I can't emphasize this enough. Consulting skills are very important. So you need to know how to analyze a problem, talk to stakeholders, dig and understand their requirements. Not only that, you need to be able to communicate back to them about why you think the requirements are feasible, not feasible, how secure are they, and you need to be able to write that in a report and present that to stakeholders. Those stakeholders can be CEO, they can be CIO or CFO. So as you can see, consulting skills is people skills, writing skills, and communication skills. Now, how do you build that?
Okay, let's pause there just really quickly, because I think that that's a good point. One thing that he's speaking about here are consulting skills. What do you all think about consulting skills? What do y'all think about that? He was mentioning that's communication, writing, and what is it? Verbal, right?
So like a lot of soft skills just being extremely important to be able to like convey the information, the technical information to those stakeholders is what I think he's trying to get at, right?
100%. And I think that that's extremely important, because it's like, I think that we all, and the PBO always has a story about the guys that he works with that don't really have the ability to communicate things. They are very technical. They can do everything. They can probably hack. They can do incident response. They can do all the security things, but they don't know how to communicate it to the right parties, right? They don't know how to translate their technical knowledge into something that's understandable to somebody who might not be necessarily technical in their practice. And I've seen that very, very, very often, for sure.
But like we talked about, that's when you're making big money, because who did he name? The CIO, the CISO, and now is, and you know this, the CISO is going to the board of directors, because now when you get hacked, that could be $1 billion, depending on what you're finding with your data. So now they're actually going to the board of directors. So when you communicate, and you know this, I always tell people, is the higher I go up, the less technical I talk, because they don't care. We got hacked. How much it's going to cost me? How quick can you get done? And how big our fine going to be? Right? Because they don't really care about Linux. They don't really care about Oracle. What happened? How much is going to cost us in? And Equifax, they lost half the United States information. Their stock price got cut in half. The CEO got fired. The CIO got fired. And the CISO, because they lost $1 billion in stock price, right? So, of course, when you talking at that level, right, that's you talking the big money people, right? That's all the big dogs, right? And that's a different level of communication. Now, when you put those two together, you're gonna make 250. That is rare, though. That is rare. Go ahead, Gabe. I think that's rare.
I do think when he mentions 250K, he's talking about probably total compensation, and he's also probably
East,
I don't know.
West
It's a bit clickbaity, because it is rare.
Oh, it is.
It is
East,
rare
West
that
Coast.
people are just running around here with 250K salaries.
Man,
but I do think that some of the things that he's saying are true. Being able to communicate, and something that you brought out, is being able to communicate the technical things to non-technical people. I think that even one way that I've seen it very, very often is that when we would do like a penetration test for my last firm, one thing that we would bring in senior managers and directors to communicate what we had in the reports to the CISOs, to the CEOs, to the CISOs, because they needed to communicate what their business needs are. Because it's not that, hey, I hacked this Apache server and was able to get creds and I used Kerberos thing and did this. No, you need to say, hey, this is a critical system that aligns with this part of your business. And that part of your business is bringing in this amount of revenue. So if this issue had persisted, then it can cause a negative result in your overall business plan or something, or your business continuity plan. You got to you got to bring it back to business language and the things that they really care about. They don't care about your technical fluidity. They don't care about how technical you're able to explain it to them because they don't understand it. They've went to school for MBAs. They went to school for finance degrees, and they're accountants, and they're doing all this other stuff. They probably never hacked the system and don't even understand what you're talking about half the time.
So, I got a quick story. Yeah, so
for sure.
I'm DOD. I'm about 30 years old. I give this killer technical PowerPoint. The developers love me. The supervisors love me. I walk into the CEO office. I got 60 slides. He looked at me in my face. Cool guy. Never forget. He goes, I know you're not showing that to management. I go, no, I went back to start ripping slides.
Let me tell you. Yeah.
Because back then, I'm a technical guy. I'm thinking this high level VP 15 and DOD gonna love them technical slides. He was like, oh no, I know you're not sure. I go, no, sir. I went back because then I learned. I'm like, he don't give a shit about tech. He wants to know what's the payback, how long it's gonna take. I was doing some I forgot what I was doing, some data warehouse and rolling up support. That's what he wanted to know. What's the reports, how much time he's gonna save us, and how much things gonna cost. He didn't care what the thing was or my beautiful, elegant code. Right. So that's when I learned. I'm like, okay, there's different presentations for different levels of management. And once again, the higher I go up, the less technical I talk. Once again, what's the ROI? How long you gonna quit? How long it's gonna take it? And that's when what's the risk? Now you're talking about risk management framework, right?
Yes, risk, resources, costs, right? How would this affect the overall business? The critical systems and the dependencies within the organization. If this happens, then how would this affect the other parts of the business? All of those things. I did want to button this up really because WireDog is dropping all types of great resources. If you're looking for free SIM training, I know that we were mentioning Rapid7 and CrowdStrike. He's mentioning Graylog Open, Elastic or Elasticsearch or Elk Stack, and Security Onion. These are very good tools. And also, alternatively, he said that you can, Open EDR is a free tool from CrowdStrike. So these, if you're looking at getting some SIM tools or some type of SIM experience, and even your EDR or endpoint detection and response, these are some free tools that WireDog is throwing in the chat. Thank you for throwing those in the chat for us. Yeah, really appreciate it.
Yeah, real quick on that too is when you look up vulnerability management, all the tools he names really fall under vulnerability management. Where you're going to be in, what logs and your EDRs, right? So vulnerability management is a bag unto itself, right? So if you Google that, those are certain skills and all those programs and systems he had rose into vulnerability management.
Yep. And 100%, I'm seeing some other comments. Yes, but the consulting does come with the ability to communicate with others. It's hard for a number of people, like we were mentioning. Absolutely, 100%.
Most people can't do that. Go ahead. Most people,
true. Gonzo says he's getting these consulting skills right now through college, and that's actually one of the value of college is being able to network, communicate ideas, speak in front of a large audience. It's not only just necessarily getting that piece of paper, but the network that you build from being in that classroom and that learning and educational setting. So. That's also another thing. Learning consulting skills in college, Gonzo.
Gonzo, I expect to see your YouTube channel shortly because you get a lot of that on YouTube and putting together. I do PowerPoints because I'm old school. But that helps like you presenting because what I do on YouTube is what I do for clients, right? So I do presentation. The higher it up, I drill down and try to make it less technical. And when I talk to my technical guys, I try to make it more technical, right? So
100%.
Because as you go, because as Gabe says, you go through there. A lead developer, supervisor, manager, and VP. Like I said, each one of those is a different presentation and really different languages you need to be talking to the business.
Right. And just as my WireDog mentioned, as we all have been talking about here, he says you need to put it in terms of damage to the business, right? That's your business continuity plan or disaster recovery plan, right? Or your incident response plan, financial losses, right? Sometimes you might need to show an organization, hey, your brother or sister company over here just got hit, and this was the result of those damages. They had to pay $4 million in ransomware costs as a result of them being hacked. We don't want the same to happen to you all, and these are the areas that we recommend for you all to button up. Stuff like that, right? Affecting their bottom line. Some organizations, their bottom line might not even be data. It might not even be certain critical systems, but it might be reputation. Right. In certain organizations or certain industries, competition is big. So you're talking about like mailing systems, email systems. right? There are so many different email systems. Of course, Gmail is probably like the top right now, but Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo Mail, it's all of these. Say, for instance, you're like an up and coming email system, and your company got hacked. That completely knocks you out. Knocks your reputation out of the market game. So, you know, sometimes your reputation might be one of the most important things. So understanding what that is for that business and being able to communicate that risk, just as PBO mentioned, is extremely important in having these type of conversations. Yeah. This month I had to dumb down 8 reports. She said 8 reports.
Shout out to Maddox.
not dumb it down. And it's interesting because a lot of times these reports for the executives and the leaders, it's like an executive summary. It's typically one page, maybe even a paragraph that summarizes what your findings are into language that they understand. So
yeah, let me jump on that. If you're talking to the CEO or management or VP, you better have a summary of 1 page. And if they need to, if you got detail at the bottom, they want to drill down to. If they have to search through 10 pages, you're gonna be in a meeting. So because I've been there before.
That 1 page, and then you will have an appendix if they want to get into more detail. Yeah. That might be for some of the other leaders. So you might just put a little reference like, hey, for more information or for more reference information here, it's in this appendix. But typically, like an executive is just going to read just that those 2 to 3 bullet points of what you want them to understand. And, you know, a lot of times, even when they're having these board of director meetings, cybersecurity might have 15 minutes on that board, on that business meeting, right? So you have your board of directors, which might include like all of these advisors and individuals, people who kind of really help to kind of steer the direction of the business. Cybersecurity isn't always at the top of the list for a lot of organizations. So you got to be able to drill it down to, like I said, 10 or 15 minutes of a highlight. And
and two, as I always remember, and I learned this, I worked at a Fortune 500 pharmaceutical when you, especially if you're working for a global company, you got a president in there, a couple of vice presidents. Gary worked for vice president. That's probably $100,000 an hour. Y'all burning just talking. You got 50 people in a run, an hour.
1 hour.
So you got to be concise because you burning money, man. So a lot of people like, well, why they do that too is cybersecurity and IT is not going to be on the top of the line unless you got a killer feature or you burning a lot of money because they got hacked, right? People don't care about those unless it's a problem or it's a money maker.
100%. And just like Clyde mentioned, those folk want the quick summation. All the other detailed stuff is what other people get paid to know and deal with. 100%. Because they're paying senior managers and directors to be over cybersecurity and all those things. That's not their focus. That's not their focus. They putting that responsibility to the people that they pay to be responsible for it. So let's hear a little bit more of this. We talked about the consulting skills, be able to talk to these high-level folk that might get you closer to the bag. But let's see more of what he says. This is only a little 3-minute video, so we can parse this out.
The CIO or CFO. So as you can see, consulting skills is people skills, writing skills, and communication skills. Now, how do you build that? It took me years and years to build that. So you need to practice that. And I believe the best way, or one of the best ways to develop that, is to actually work in consulting companies where you get to deal with different type of clients every day. I did that even in my Unix engineering days where I used to work for a service provider. So I used to talk to clients all day long and I used to do hands-on work all day long. Consulting skills alone will not get you there. So I still have very, very strong technical skills. As you can see, I have many certifications. I still work on my...
Look at this. He done listed out his certifications. He said, even though this consulting stuff is important, he said having his GCFA, GPen, G-Cert. So these are like those SANS certifications. Those $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 certs. CISM, that's a very reputable one. C-Risk. I know this is a Red Hat cert, and this is a Security Plus, right? And so, he says he's still very, very technical. I don't know if the certifications are the only distinguisher of you being technical, but I do think it adds to that technical story. I don't know.
Yeah, I think for the mystique, and two is, too, Gabe, is managers and especially HR, they like to see all those letters.
They do. They really do.
Letter soup.
Now, don't get me wrong. I remember people with a lot of letters couldn't Linux stay way out of a paper bag, man. They were just great test takers, right? So let's be clear. But especially when you go on as a consultant or you trying to start a consultant, that's the benchmark to get you in, because
letters,
HR and vendor stuff, because I just reviewed some vendor stuff, they want to see your certifications.
Yeah, they do. They do. So, there's people who might say certs don't matter, they don't matter, but a lot of times it's the only way that organizations can see what type of base level skills and knowledge you have on paper, because they're not going to meet you. They're not going to come in contact with you. They haven't worked with you. So they're looking at credentials, degrees, certification, some type of bio of what your experience is. I know that he even mentioned, and I was writing a couple of things down that he was talking. He said he has 17 years of experience.
Right.
When a company is looking to bring him on, they're looking at 17 years of experience, a whole bunch of credentials, degrees, consulting experience. This might be the guy, right? So you want to kind of tell the story from a paper perspective, and tell that paper story. You gotta have some certs. A lot of times, you gotta have some certs or some degrees. So,
well, let's touch on the elephant in the room too. Is a lot of times they want you to look the part, right? I work with this white dude. I always tease him. He looked pretty. He got the bow tie. He got the smooth hair.
Right.
Right? So when he come on, and I used to get mad. I would say something.
Yeah.
Everybody would brush it off. He said the same thing I said. Everybody like, oh, that was brilliant. I'd be like, I just said the same shit he said, right? But I got paid, so it didn't bother me. So a lot of times too is they want a certain look. A lot of times when people tell you to put on a suit, that's because the people with the money want to see you in a suit. It's not because I want to wear your suit.
Let me tell you. I mean, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
Gabe works for a large consulting company, and I interview those guys, right? I don't have to wear a suit because I'm with the team that hiring those guys, but that's what they say. Oh, he was smooth. He was articulate. In my mind, he was articulate, but he didn't say shit.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that a little bit, about like the dress and all that. I'm more born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I'm more comfortable in sweatpants, a hoodie, do-rag, and a beanie or something, right? But when I'm like working, I'm like, I have to. I wouldn't even say I have to, but in order to kind of distinguish myself in the workplace, I dress like the person at the next level or several levels above me dress. Not because it makes me comfortable, but because it kind of puts myself in that place, if that makes sense. It kind of says, okay, this person looks like the leaders, so this person must be a leader. I think it's the same way in like churches and everything, right? A lot of times the pastor is kind of typically a lot of black churches, the pastor is like the most well-dressed person. That's a whole nother discussion, but typically that person that you can distinguish who that person is based upon just visual. Now, typically I'm just in like a hoodie or something, but I'm just getting off work, so I got a little polo or whatever. Even on the channel when I'm doing live streams, I kind of dress down, but I think that's something that can also help you get to where you're desiring to get from a compensation perspective. If people have seen you or see you in the dress of what typical leaders within your organization look like. So,
you're 100% correct. Now I'm on the opposite side of Gabe, right? Gabe is ascending. I'm comfortable now with descending, right? I'm gonna show up in what I got on because I don't give a shit, right? My skill set. I'm not trying to lead anybody. I ain't trying to supervise. I'm trying to do my job, go home, and eat well because I'm fat, right? So I'm not in that game. But when I was younger, like Gabe, I would be suited up. I went so far in the old days, IBM, I showed up in wingtips. My buddies was teasing me because I'm trying to fit in with the IBM guys because I'm trying to get the bag, right? They are, when you go to big consulting companies, the big four, they are an army and you need to fit in. You can't be going in with the nail because they're going to pound you down, right? So, but like I said, I was younger. I'm 53 plus. I got 10 more years and I'm done.
Right.
So, but you need to figure out what you're trying to do in the next 10 years. Like I said, I'm just trying to make, be in the top 6%, eat well, get fat, and have a good life, right? But you need to figure out where you at in this career curve and what you're trying to do.
Right. This is, I just want to show you like who I was freshman year of college. Like this was me. Freshman year of college, man. I'm up here in class. I told you, with a hoodie, a do-rag, a beanie, and that's my professor. Why am I doing? This is what I was comfortable with. I'm fresh out the city. And I told the girl behind me, I'm like, yo, take a picture of me with the professor. Like, I'm just doing stuff, right? But this is where I'm most comfortable. This is what I look like most comfortable.
Yeah, but let me chime in. This white dude, I interviewed him, loved him. He a business continuity expert.
Yeah.
He told me, he said, you need to put on a collar shirt on your YouTube channel so you'll make it grow. I'm like, I don't think the collar shirt gonna make it grow, but he's old school, so that just gives you his perspective. He was like, you need to dress up on the YouTube channel. That'll help it grow. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that, right?
Not necessarily.
That's his perspective, right? And he was in the leadership forever, right?
Yeah.
So that gives you insight into his thought pattern.
Right. So so I'm saying it's different looks for different times, but that don't mean that's where you're the most comfortable for sure. Maddox said the CISM pays more than CISSP now. Oh wow, that's something. Clyde says, aren't there certain times where contracts might demand certs? Yes, there are times where contracts do demand certain certifications. And just like you saying, PBO, you're probably looking for those certs right now within some of the contract submissions.
And you just said it. When you on government contracts, you got to do the AIT1, the AIT2, and the AIT3, right? And that tells you CISP is 3. I think Security Plus is 2.
Yep.
I think A+1. So if you, especially on a government contract, and once again, I'm going to hit the elephant in the head. If you're a person of color, they really going to be asking for certs. I'm just letting you know because they want to know you legit.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And which kind of pissed me off because I'm like, dude, I got more certs than everybody. These dudes don't have no certs.
Right.
So why are you demanding me? But two is, I'm about that life. So whatever I need to do, I'm not arguing. I'm just going to get what I need to get the bag I need to get, right?
100%. 100%. Any questions? I wanted to move on to kind of like our last little segment. It's going to be like a show and tell thing. I'm going to be opening up with my LinkedIn, some of the messages and the offers that have been coming through, some of my past offers. So I want to kind of do that. You guys have any questions or anything that you want to talk about before I get into that?
No, I think you're just going to show what we all know. I mean, you can go to Indeed. The money's out there if you got the skills, and part of the skills is getting the certs, right? Because the certs validate at a certain level what your skills are. I'm not a big cert guy because I got a lot of experience, but even at my level now, certain jobs are saying you need this certain cert. For me, CISP, to even interview for that job, I probably would say 40% of the people like, we see you got a lot of experience, but where your certs at, right?
Right. It's those years too, right? Because I think that you probably heavily rely on your years of experience.
I do.
Beyond those certs, right? Those years can't come by doing anything but actually working in capacities for a certain number of years. So, for people who are newer, it could be a little bit more difficult to validate your experience without certs, without degrees. So,
And let's be legitimate. And this too is I've been in the game long enough. I got recommendations from a CEO, a CISO, which is a cyber information officer for NSA.
Right.
I got some high powered people that are co-sign because I've been in the game long enough, right?
Yeah.
So those people let the gatekeepers get off of me a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I'll be like, these people are your people. They look like you. They vouching for me. Can I get into the door, right?
100%. So kind of for this last little small segment, I think that one way that a lot of times we restrict ourselves from certain salaries or certain compensations is because we don't know what the possibilities are, right? We don't always know what other people are making. And it's not necessarily pocket watching, but it's knowing what our skill sets and value is to the market. If we know what our skill sets and value is to the market, then that makes us more equipped to be able to negotiate for a salary that we're looking for, right? And I think that that's really the backdrop and the purpose for me sharing this. And feel free to chime in anytime, fellas, if y'all have any questions or concerns. But I'm just going to start off with this first one. And this was actually an offer letter that I got several years ago, right? So this was one where I was working as a senior consultant for a consulting firm. And it was interesting because when I first came in, they were trying to negotiate me with a base salary of $10K less. Right. But then after I was talking to people, after I understood what people was making at the organization, I'm like, I need that 160. I need that 160 as the base salary. Right. And then the thing about it is that it wasn't only the one. So I ended up, after negotiating more from talking to people, I was able to get that. But there's also other things that's associated with it. So there was an incentive compensation. So this is like the performance thing for like that comes once a year. So that was like around 24K in salary. Right. So the 160 plus that 224, that 184. And then there was also another piece with RSUs, or restricted stock units, that based upon where that stock was valued for that company, because this is a publicly traded organization, I got 5,300 restricted stock units. And I think at the time it was somewhere around like 150 to 170 or something, based upon how the stock was going. So overall, annually, and this is the vesting period. So after you finish your first year, you get 25% of that. So after your first year, you get 25% of like that 150. So what's that? What's 25 point? Let me see. I still count on my fingers. 0.25 times.
Me too.
150. So after the first year, you'll get like, oh shoot. I think it's like 30. Let's see. 0.25 times 150, 000. So after the first year, you get somewhere around like 37,500 to just hit, right? And that means that it vests, and you could turn that into like liquid money, or you could hold on to it in order for that stock to grow. So annually, this looked like somewhere around like 220, 230 or so. And this is possible, right? I mention this to say that this is absolutely possible for individuals that are going into cybersecurity. And probably I have around, I'm around 10 years of experience, not only in engineering, but also in cybersecurity. So all of that combined, I mean, I just kept going from role to role, have a lot of different types of experience and certification. So I bring that up to say that it is possible for sure.
Look up that L5 real quick again, like you did yesterday.
Absolutely. So let's see. For
AWS engineer, cloud engineer.
There's another website called levels.fyi,
yeah,
right?
That'll be cool too. Yep, levels.
Levels.
Shout out to Women's and Lemons.
Levels.
Indeed. I actually want to bring one of those up before I go to that, because I had got somebody that had jumped into my inbox and they were looking for cloud roles, and I'm like, cloud roles? I don't even have cloud experience. So no, not really.
Yeah, you do.
Not me.
The reason I say that, like we talked about, we just talked about that, is cloud is just the foundation. If you're doing Linux, I do AWS. You're just doing Amazon. That's Red Hat. If you're doing Apache, you're just doing it in the cloud, right? If you're doing AIM, it's the same thing in the cloud, right? You just got to kind of get their vernacular how they want to do it. But all the same things we talk about fundamentally, you just spinning up more of it in the cloud. That's all right. So
now so speaking of cloud, we're looking at here, right? This individual reached out to me, said they had several roles that were open for individuals that were jumping into cybersecurity, but a lot of these are cloud roles. So this is a cloud product security architect coming in at 185, a senior cloud product security architect. It's a lot to say. 200K, right? A cloud product security engineer, 140 to 185. Cloud security practice director, right? That's that 160 to 240. And then a senior cybersecurity consultant is that 150 to 160.
Hold on, real quick, Gabe. Go down right below that. That's actually GRC. They talking about ISO, NIST, CSS, right? Policy development. So that's where your GRC joins with the cloud. So really, they're spinning up stuff, and you're from a compliance standpoint, and that's what I talk about on my channel, is you're validating that what they set up is ISO compliant or NIST compliant, and their policies are in compliance for them for what they're building, right?
Right.
That's where you take the GRC molded with the cloud, and that's going to be my next 10-year bag when I ride out to the sunset. Go ahead. I just saw that ISO down there. Go ahead.
Oh, and sorry for that previous offer. That was like 2 rows ago. So that was probably like from like 3 or so years ago. So I don't think I should share my current one, because I don't know if my current organization wants to.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. I ain't gonna let you do that. Don't do that.
But it's also redacted too, right? So you don't even know what that organization was. But that was for several years ago. It was an offer, but it's something that you can aspire to even now, right? So, but these are some of the things that come out here, right? You're getting a range from about 150K to over 240K for cloud security roles, and that is the demand here.
Bring up that AWS level 5, man. Wow,
absolutely. Let me pull.
I know you're trying to get to the baby real quick. Let's go.
No, it's all
this
good.
Last one.
No, it's all good. You
know
your
wife yelling at me, man. I want your wife yelling at me, man. Shout out to the family.
I'm at an hour and a half. That's crazy. Okay, so let me pull this up. Mr. Mysterious, you got any questions, man? Running here.
No, not necessarily, man. Like I said, I was just taking notes on what I probably should. My next step should be. I'm definitely checking out that Pico CTF and looking at Tech G. I mean, like I said, I'm still trying to get my legs under me and just
absolutely
try to get going there.
Indeed.
Click on the L6 for software engineer.
L6. So which one for software engineer? L6.
Yeah.
Okay, so this website is called levels.fyi. Like we mentioned at the last stream, this is where people submit their salaries for the roles that they're currently in. So the one that Professor Black Ops is talking about is this one, right?
Yep. So Amazon reached out to me off of my YouTube channel, and I did their loop, which is on my. So AWS loop is I did 6 interviews in one day, each of them at least from 50 minutes to an hour 10, right?
Yeah.
So they're gonna go through. But look at the base. My base was 200. The stock options every year was 142.
Yeah.
5,000. So long story short is I really started digging at AWS. So I interviewed, shout out to the Indian guy. He said, we like you. You need more seasoning. But I like you. Go to the L5 and do the loop for the L5. So hit the L5. So I was like, okay, L5. I'm like, I was like, hell, I don't make 235 now. I'll do it, right? Long story short, I didn't get it. But like Dave said, the money's out there, right? So I'm laughing every day. I'm working on some projects and I'm going to share them on my channel, share them with Gabe so I can do products so I can show them to recruiters and to AWS and say, this is my skill set, right? I can do auto scaling. I can do serverless. And the big one you really need to, I think, to get to the L6 month, you got to get to containerization, right? I got my Kubernetes got to be down and my Docker's got to be down at a high level, right? Shout out to the technical people right out there.
Drilling very down into like a niche. And that's the thing that I think that also comes up, right? I have a particular niche in industrial cybersecurity, right? PBO has a niche in government and federal government contracts and regulations, but also he's building it also in cloud a lot too. So, I think niching down really gets you to a lot of what these salaries are in cybersecurity. I know these are software engineering roles, but cybersecurity roles are very similar in their composition for salaries.
The reason why I said the software engineering is that's what they really want me to do cybersecurity on, right? DevSecOps, right? I've developed for 10 years, right? So they was like, well, we want to put you as engineer. You can do DevSecOps. Are you doing validation? Do you have encryption in the database, right? All that really comes from my software knowledge purple team. So that's really what they wanted me to secure. So that's 100%. Kind of the interview they wanted me to do. So when I did it.
This is another one, right? These individuals reached out to me and they're trying to do something. I'm working with a client called blank, a DOD and private transportation data company. I don't even know what that is. Pretty much. So when I was looking at this, I'm like, I know they're not trying to bring me back into Stiggin and DODing, right? But then I'm kind of looking at it and it says they're looking for a threat engineer who understands. So this is more of programming there, right? So there's a big blend within cybersecurity and programming, especially when you talk about threat detection, threat engineering, reverse engineering, malware reverse engineering. That's when you really get into like your C++, Python proficiency. They want you to be have familiarity with embedded protocols. I know CAN bus. This stuff is for vehicles and DevOps tools. This is a very, technically fluid role. Like I mentioned, reverse engineering, malware, pen testing, vulnerability research, cryptography. You probably wouldn't be doing all this at the same time, but you would probably focus in on one or two of these. And the salary there, 150 to 200K, right? 150 to 200K plus there is a bonus and equity for this role. And look what else? 100% remote.
Yeah, that's
so
sweet.
You're staying at home, making 150 to 200K plus a bonus plus equity, and you're right there at the crib, right? And
in
this
your pajamas.
Again, very technical. Yeah. In your pajamas. You don't have to dress up all the time. You don't have to do all the consulting stuff, right? You are there to make it happen.
I'm in pajamas. I'm in pajamas every day looking dead. No. But now real quick. Just real quick though, just a little pushback is and Gabe hit it is this job, like he said, is super specific with a super domain niche focus. The cool thing about cybersecurity is there's so many domains. I would put this under DevSecOps. And like you said, even embedded security. We talked about GRC, Even part of that is security. Most project managers never ran a security project.
Right.
I got to tell them, I always tease our project management. I get upset. I say, I tell you what to do, then you come back and tell me to hurry up. You don't even know what goes into security projects, right? So you got project management. Then GRC, there's probably 6 or 7 big domains that you can get the bag with in cybersecurity.
Yeah,
right.
100%. 100%.
Right. So
and
you
then kind of also
figure out what you want to do and go get it, right? So that's it. Go ahead, man.
I was going to say also kind of looking at this, a lot of organizations, they put in their wish list into job postings. So when you talk about all of this, it probably will be difficult to find somebody that's proficient in C++, C, and Python that also has reverse engineering experience, that just has pen testing, understand embedded protocols, also has DevSecOps or DevOps tools experience. There's a lot going on here. So the thing about it is that I would say to probably be proficient at maybe 1 or 2 of these, still apply, but be proficient at 1 or 2 of these, and then they'll probably train you for the rest of this. You probably don't have to know every single thing that's on this list in order to apply.
That's a unicorn. You're right. That's
absolutely.
A unicorn.
This is definitely a unicorn.
You if you have all of that, you're gonna be making more than 2, right? So I think
I was just about to say that having all of this is probably 200 to 300, 250 to 300, I would say. Because it's only one of you probably.
Yeah, and when you get to that level too, is most of the jobs, if you hit 80% of stuff, you're gonna get there. And then 2 is I like to apply because they're gonna tell you what you're short on. And 2 is I'm old, understand what you're good at so you can talk to what you're good at. I see a lot of young people try to fluff me over. I'm like, dude, you said a lot of words, but you ain't say one damn thing.
You ain't say too much of nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
So understand what you're good at and drill down to it. Shout out to Brother Michael.
Indeed. And Buffalo Soldier said, thanks for sharing their personal data. This is positive motivation to me to consider transition to the field. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's really the major reason, right, that I want to share that this is all very possible. I wouldn't say I do think I'm very good at what I do, but I don't think that I'm the only person that can do what I can do. Right. So I do think that many of you who are aspiring and desiring to get into cybersecurity and to kind of get up to some of these salaries here, I do think it's out there and it's very possible for you all. And for you all to have visibility into it is really equipping you to say, hey, maybe I'm worth much more than what I thought I was worth. Type of thing. So,
And the other thing about that is
yes. I just want to say yes on that one.
When you go to big companies, it's like the outsource. You're gonna have 20% of people or 10% of the people just super top notch. The rest, 60% of people, is gonna be in the middle where you're gonna be at. When I first went to DOD, I was like, oh, everybody's out here gonna be a genius. They're gonna run over me. I got there, I was like, oh hell, 90% of these people dumb as hell. I can roll with these people.
All right.
So don't talk yourself out of it. Don't do what's the thing everybody talks about? I always forget the term.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, imposter syndrome. Lab every day, work on your craft, and you're gonna be good. I promise you're gonna be fine. And 2 is reach out to me and Gabe, reach out to Tech Chief. We'll always drop you advice. If I can't, I got some people that can help you because I was on a panel with Gabe, which kind of threw me off real quick. Gabe was there. I think we were on Before the Billions. Yeah. Each of us graduated 10 years, and we were the only one in our comp-sci class. So my thing, are we getting any better, right? So we need to get more people into the game, get over the gatekeepers. Because I promise you, man, I'm decently smart, but I'm not super smart, man. I'm not Elon Musk, and I think a lot of people talk themselves out of IT. And we have this debate is, I took Calculus 3. I never used any of that shit in real life.
No, none of it.
I could take air in a tornado. I've never used that in my life. I promise you. So I think math is a good skill to have, but I promise you, when I do complicated math, I worked in 10 industries with complicated math, insurance, just a lot of complicated. I sit with the SME. He gives me the formula and we test it on a program. I don't come up with the formula out of scratch. Right? And I got MBA. I can do depreciation. No, the dude's going to come and give me the formula. He'd be like, PBO, this is the formula. When you put it in, do this calculation. Got it, right? Then he's going to validate it, right?
100%.
Man, it helps in finance that I understand it from the basics, but no, you're going to get with SMEs. I worked in insurance, pharmaceuticals, real estate, every time I sat with the SME, they gave me the formula for what they want me to calculate. So
Yeah.
don't get imposter syndrome. Don't overscare. Just work on your skills, and
Work
you
on
can
your
get in this
skills, yeah.
business. And I promise you, you can make 6 figures.
100%, and even more, right? So I think that Buffalo asks, how about hours of work? Do you work? It's up and down, right? Sometimes I can maybe work 25 to 30 hours a week based upon the project. Because a lot of times in consulting, you're just giving advice. A lot of times, like you're talking to a customer, you're giving advice, you're researching things for them. You're almost on call at times. And I do a lot of incident response in my case. So if I'm not on call, many times I'm doing practice improvement things. It's not anything super duper crazy. But there's other times if I'm starting an incident, then it's like it's like work, it's like weekends. You might have to hop on the flight, you name it. So in consulting it fluctuates. So definitely.
And I've been in all areas of that. Like you said, currently I'm in GRC, so I don't work for much at all, to be honest.
Right.
So, but when I was on production, like Dave said, we some break. I've worked 27 hours straight.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out a bug. So it depends on where you're at. And 2 is where you're at in your career, right? And so life fluctuates. And a lot of times too is I feel my downtime was self-study, right? I taught myself job. Now, shout out to the dude. I got 4 AWS certs that I got on my downtime and downtime in 2023 because we know the cloud is the next bag. So even at my age, I said, let me get these certs so I can start building my skill set, understand security with it, understand GRC, so we can
100%.
wrap that up in the cloud. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, I want to say hello to Brownie Ellie. I was on her panel, I think it was a couple of days ago. She was having a conversation about artificial intelligence and kind of the ethics behind it, the consciousness behind it. So check out her channel. Thank you for coming through. Definitely appreciate you being here. Christopher Dunn, thank you for coming through, man. You said you could listen to us all day. And American salaries are crazy. They are up there.
He must not be from America to say that.
Absolutely. Yeah, where are you from, Christopher? Yeah.
He
Let us
said
know where you're from, man.
Yeah, shout out to America.
Yeah, this has motivated me and keeping me studying for the 6 figures. Absolutely, can definitely get there. Look up some CTFs, 2 even on YouTube. Yes, CTFs on YouTube are there as well. You'll find all types of stuff like Hack the Box is another one that's there, or Try Hack Me. That's another one. Okay. What are the top 5 security roles that will allow remote? That sounds like a stream within itself. I think I have to do a stream within itself on that one.
I think really, if you're in the cloud, almost any role in the cloud now is going to be remote because that's really what the basis of cloud is, being remote. And you can't go to a data center in the cloud; they won't let you in. So.
Yep. PBO, he says that they're handing us you an air sandwich with all those empty words.
Facts, man. You gotta drill down.
Only math I use in IT was binary math associated with networking. Absolutely, yeah. IP addresses and MAC addresses and subnets and all that. It's binary math. So yeah. That's right there, man. These numbers are crazy. These numbers definitely are crazy. I was having a conversation. This was actually a conversation here within my LinkedIn inbox. We were just talking. I'm just like, so this was for an incident response director role. So you're talking about somebody that runs the entire practice of incident response for this. I think it was for a startup organization too. And I was just asking, I'm like, I don't know if we need to be talking here if we're not talking the right numbers here. And then I'm like, for a director role, I'm going to be expecting something. And they said, hey, we can offer up to a 220K base. I mean, that's pretty substantial. That's like physician numbers, right? Your doctor, your family doctor probably don't even make that in the base. And then they also offer bonuses and additional benefits on top of that. And he said, how does that sound right off the bat? I was like, it's not okay. It's not all right. It's not okay. We can keep talking. I didn't end up moving forward with that opportunity, but again, these are the possibilities. These are the possibilities here. I think I have a couple of more, but feel free to chime in if you have anything to say about that one.
And 2, I think, and Gabe just hit on it, is he got that because he has a certain domain knowledge that sits on top of his technical knowledge. Right, I do federal compliance. I'm a SME in IRS. I'm a SME in DOD. Me and Gabe hate the sticks, but that's what gets me paid because very few people like or even know how to do the stigs. Right, those are hardening on your whole infrastructure, even in the cloud. Right, if they're doing business at DOD, their cloud infrastructure's got to be hard at a certain level. But that's a specific domain knowledge. So I tell 100%. People, once you get your tech skills, what's going to be your business skills or your tech inside tech? Like, Like he does incident response. I do incident response exercise. If something happened, what do we need to do? Who do you need to report to? Where do you need to go? Right. All of those are different domain skills.
100%. And this is another one for incident response. And it's so interesting because you know how a lot of these things had come about. It really came about from me starting to put out a lot of or advertising a lot of my YouTube videos and YouTube content on my LinkedIn account. And it's almost a one-to-one. As soon as I drop a YouTube video advertisement on my LinkedIn, I'm getting my inbox flooded with offers like this one. I think this one came like maybe a couple of weeks ago or something. And this one is right an IR expert role, incident response expert, 100K or 180K, 100% remote plus bonus. And they kind of give will be an incident response driven alongside digital forensics and malware analysis and recommending mitigations to clients. And like I said, they say 100% remote, but they said it'll be a remote. And I'll be working with an Israeli team, and there would be occasional travel only 20% of the time. So 20% of the time, what's 20%? What's that? Once every couple of months or once a month or something? Is 20% once a month? Or once every couple of months or something like that?
I think that's at least once a month, ain't it?
Right. And then they say, because they first say this to get you to click on the email, but then they come up with 200K as a base plus a bonus, and then you get pre-IPO shares. So this one was a startup. So these are pretty much promissory shares of the company before it even went public. So
let me chime in on that. Let's get on the negative side. I'm usually the negative person in the room. Is be careful because pre-IPO shares and restricted shares are good, but a lot of times they have to hit a strike price. I worked at a large insurance company. They gave people shares. They bought another company and went on. So people have $1 million shares that were worth zero. Right? So you need to do your calculation. Just because you get shares, make sure they're worth something, right? Because if you're doing a pre-IPO, that means just a thought, and they're not on the market yet. So their product could fail. They could try to buy something, right? So make sure, because there's a lot of people with shares underwater. Google that. There's a lot of people on YouTube. Like, I had 1 million 100%. Shares in Silicon Valley, and they ended up being zero. So you gave away a lot of your upfront price for the big price, and it never happened.
And that's some of the risk, right? I know a lot of times for a lot of the millennials, my fellow millennials, we don't stay places for long periods of time, right? So sometimes we would want to go with a startup that might have a desire to go public within the next couple of years. We might get a whole bunch of those shares if they go public. Now, if they don't go public, that money is never realized. So you might want to negotiate a little higher in your base salary, a little higher in your annual bonus than you would with those pre-IPO shares. Now, if that company does go public and it does do very, very well, and you do get a whole bunch of pre-IPO shares, then listen, you could find a beach. You could find a beach somewhere to lay out. Like, you could find, like, there's plenty of beaches. So, that can be some of the risks that you're going through there. But and that's some of the risks for working with startups. So
yeah, if you look at Facebook, Priyapatia, man, that dude made so much money on Facebook because I think he was the 15th developer. Man, he a billionaire now. So it just, there's pluses and minuses. But I met guys, like I said, I work for a Fortune 500 insurance company. They bought a company out, their restricted stocks worth zero. I talked to my ex-boss, and we talked about he actually turned green while we were talking about it because he was playing that for his retirement, and they bought a company and went bankrupt.
That's crazy. Yeah, Clay said, I am only streaming on YouTube for now. I might go to Twitch one day or something, or do some other stuff. We'll see. He says from the UK. Yeah, welcome from the UK. Thank you for chiming in. Definitely appreciate you being here for sure. Yes, try hack me is one. That's wild. Yeah, these numbers crazy. Wire Dog also seems like has some similar experience. He says recruiters hit me up all the time on LinkedIn. I got a message yesterday about a long-term contract for cybersecurity solutions engineer, $100 an hour, fully remote. These numbers are crazy.
Let me get a piece of that. Be careful, Wire Dog, because what a lot of times is, and I got tricked, but I was lucky, is they had a 10-year contract. Most government contracts go year to year. Because they know that if they're bad, they don't want to argue with them. So each year they have to be renewed. And one guy said, "Oh yeah, we're in a 5-year contract." I was like, "Cool." When I started working, he was on the 6th month of a 5 year at the end of the contract.
Wow.
I just got lucky though. So when it ended, the Prime, which is another company, won a contract, they picked me up. Right. So the question is, where are you at in the contract? Is it renewable every year? Are you in the first year of this contract, or you in the 5th year? Right. So be careful, right? We dropping you some contract game now, Wire Dog.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna get this everywhere, man. We dropping you some games. So even though they say long term, okay, is this the 9th year of a 10-year contract? Right.
Yeah.
So answer this question, because most recruiters get paid for how long you're there. So if you're there 6 months, he gonna get a paycheck off of you. So he don't care if you risking your family, left your good job just to take this job, and it might not even last.
I'm telling you. Yeah. And Wire Dog said noted. Yeah, Akin mentioned that the 220K without debt and residency for 7 years. Yeah, that's listen, crazy. Gonzo said he's salivating for these salaries.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, get the skills and experience, the money will come. Absolutely. Startup jobs are notorious. Like, I don't even think that these 200 plus K, because that comes on the back of 10 plus years of experience, niching down into. I think that, man, really when things started to change for me is around that 110, 120 or so. I think you can live most places well above your well above any living type of standard for those like a 115 to 120 or so, because everything else is a lot of more. But again, it's based upon what your living situation is. But I would say that you could probably find a lot of roles in cybersecurity, especially cybersecurity engineer, for like a 120 or 125 salary. They are very much so out there. So getting over the 100K or so is definitely not impossible in cybersecurity especially when you're technical.
Oh, that's easy, but let's once again touch on that and I've lived this is the more money you make. I was married then. I'm not picking on women, but your family's gonna eat up that because you're gonna want to travel, car, new baby stroller.
Yeah.
So your life starts getting weird because now it starts sounding elitist. Somebody said, "Oh, we got a $40 an hour job for you." I was like, "I don't even open my laptop for that, homie. You insulted me, player." So,
I mean, after 25 years of experience, 30 years plus of experience, after 30 plus years of experience, why would you accept less, right? Than what you've worked towards. Not to say that's bad, but yeah.
But too, be careful, dude, because I see a lot of my friends, they're struggling because they didn't get on the new hot thing.
Yeah.
So if you on Power Builder, I'm like, dude, where the Java at? Where the C# at? Right.
Yeah.
So those guys are struggling now because and I tell people, don't get mad. I'm old and make a lot of money. You can hire somebody at 8 and hire 2 people for what I make, right? So if I'm not giving you that value, I shouldn't be mad if I get laid off. A lot of older people get salty, but I like, dude, this is a return on investment game.
Right.
So if I'm charging you 200, I need to give you 200,000 worth of value because there's a lot of guys like my man said, if you give them 80, they taking that and running and working 12 hours a day. PBL going to bed. He ain't working that long no more. He old. He ain't doing that no more, right?
I think Clay, kind of how it is that they can withhold information, but a lot of it is public, right? About what contracts and things are won. So a lot of times you are going to have to find that you have to do your own due diligence and research about what's happening with these contracts before you commit, or even asking the right questions during the interview process.
And Gabe just said it's not misrepresentation if you didn't ask the question. A 10-year contract is a long-term contract.
A long time.
It's not my issue to tell you it's 9. They're trying to make money, man. It's not right. So, and I agree. You think people would be morally correct and ethical? They don't give a shit about you, man. They trying to make their bonus, man. So you got to be smart enough. And shout out to Gabe. We dropped me some gems, man. Like I said, I just got lucky. So now I know what questions to ask because I was like, "Why you didn't tell me?" And the guy basically told me, "It's not my job to tell you, a grown ass man." I like noted, got it.
That's what they
noted. Got it.
It's business. Like we have to watch out for ourselves because many times they won't watch out for us. Yeah. No. So, just kind of summarizing some of what we talked about because I'm about to drop off here. Like PBO know when I'm about to drop off. But yeah, definitely appreciate you fellas for being here with me, kind of riding along, going through some of this content. Definitely went over some of the salary stuff, some of the skills that brothers from YouTube channels and people from other places online have been able to share about how to get there. We talked about soft skills as being something that's integral. being able to write and communicate the technical things to kind of leaders within organizations. We looked at some salaries here. We even opened up some of my own things that people sent me, things about offers. So hopefully this has been valuable to you all. Do you all have any last words to say before I drop off? PBO and Mr. Mysterious, anything there?
Just as far as thank you, gentlemen, for all these gems you drop in, because I'm definitely picking them up. Outside of that, yeah. No, I'm just gonna start working on my search. Like I said.
Absolutely, man. You know, I make content for individuals like yourself, right? People who are starting off or people who are growing in their journey. So feel free, if you have any questions or concerns, hit my email, hit my LinkedIn or anything, and I will be on it to respond, because really you were the reason why I make my content. So definitely thank you for being here, asking great questions, and yeah, man, the best wishes on your journey for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like Gabe said, you can reach out to me or him, and I'll probably send you back to Gabe. He's much more professional in there. That's not what PBO do.
No,
but you can reach out to me. I'll probably send you to Gabe, though. But just recapping, the money's out there. Cloud is out there. GRC's out there. So many different domains in the cloud. And he showed you the offers, man. And like I said, I've been at DOD. I've been at Cap Gemini. I've been at some of the biggest companies in the world. All them dudes ain't super smart, man. You can definitely get in the mix, and you can definitely get to 6 figures. I know I put the stat in there, only 70% of bros make 100K, but once again, it's out there to get, and tech's in there. And don't be scared of the tech layout. Most of those guys are getting hired in 2 or 3 months if you got real skills, because Silicon Valley was hogging all the damn talent, right? Banks needed it, hospitals needed, insurance company need. Now you ain't gonna make 300, but if you're making 140 in the Midwest, you're gonna live very well.
That's beautiful.
So don't be scared. It's out there to get there. And there's a ton of great channels out there. Mine's one of them. Come check me out. But that's all I got. I always come to support Gabe.
Thank you all for riding along, and thank you all for coming to Struggle Security, where we are normalizing struggling in cybersecurity. Come back again for the next live stream and check out the content. Thank you all for being here. All right, peace out.
Thank you.
Yep.